Hi, this is Kenny from Business Central. If you're using Power BI for sales, I have a great offer for you. In version 26.1, we come with an enhanced Power BI app that makes the great app you have from last semester even better. So let's dive in and see some of the new capabilities. So we focused on 4 different topics or themes in the Power BI sales app in the version 2025 release wave 1. Again, remember that this is coming in 26.1. The first is the sales life cycle. Now, if you think about an item that you sell to a customer, you have different phases. You might not go through all of them in a sale. You might go directly to a sales order and sell it, but you might also have a quote or even an opportunity if you use the CRM module. But a sale where a customer returns or you have credit memos is not like a great sale, right? Because then you're actually not making the money that is in the sales order amount, because some of that needs to be deducted. In the last wave, the sales app was focusing on sales orders and sales invoices. And in this wave, we kind of move left and right. So both in the CRM world and also looking at the quality of the sales in return analysis. Let's dive in to the opportunity. So the opportunity overview report have, like many of the reports, you have some key KPIs or numbers in the top here, and then you have different aspects of opportunities. For instance, the value by status. So here you see won or in progress or lost opportunities. You can also see the sales cycle, whether opportunities are new or existing, the funnel of different stages. If you name, in this case, we don't have a name for the first description here, but we do have initial and qualification, so you can see the different opportunities by that. And you can even see from where in the world your opportunities are. If I expand my map here and just make this a bit bigger, I can see that something is going on in Australia. Apparently this is where we have our opportunities. And if I hover over this, I can see some geographic representation and also the estimated value by location. So this is the opportunity report. Let's move on and look at some sales quote analysis. So I'll just pick the sales quote report here, sales quote overview. Again, you see same pattern, some KPIs in the top. But now you can dive into sales quotes by customer, including an idea about what profit would this particular quote actually give. So not only focusing on the sales amount and like how much we sell, but also what would be profit from this quote. You can see quotes over time. You can even track your sales staff and kind of see Jim is killing it here compared to others. Benjamin, not so much. So that gives also like a holistic view on quotes, both by customer, by sales staff, and what people is quoting, and a time graph for that. And then let's look at return orders. So that's return order overview. Again, here you can see KPIs like what is like wasted, like this is minus sales amount because people are returning things. And this is the missing profit opportunity here because of return orders. You have an idea here about which customers return the most. Of course, you can sort this to kind of get that to see whether this is a good or bad customer. You can see why people return things, and you can also see returns over time. So whether suddenly maybe you have a quality issue, maybe you're overselling, I don't know. That's up to you to find the whys. This is just giving you some numbers and visualizations for return order returns. The next topic is profitability. So not only how much we sell and the amount we sell for, but also is it actually making money? So let's dive into sales by customer. And sales by customer is an existing report that now got some new visuals. The first here is a Pareto analysis. So I can simply say, what is the population of my customers that generate 70% of my profit? Or if I want to go for a higher amount, then I know that Alpine, Relic Cloud, Edatum, and School for Fine Art are accommodating for 90% of my sales. This data set is very evenly distributed. You probably have more variation in the profit by customer. So we also added some new measures here in the details. So profit margin, and then a visual on from where in the world you get your sales amount by location. So now I can see that in Australia we have a certain total amount, but we're also doing some sales up in Washington State in the US. A different way of looking at your profit is not by customer, but by item. So here on the sales by item, we have two new visuals to the right. The first one is sales by item category over time. This is a way to look for patterns such as seasonality, or maybe certain item categories get more interesting sales-wise over time. So that's one way of looking at your sales, not at a point in time, but over time. And the second visual here is your item profitability, a bubble chart with two axes, two measures we mapped against each other. The sales quantity on the x-axis and the sales amount on the y-axis. And then if I hover over one of these bubbles, I can see the profit margin and the sales amount and quantity and so on. So depending on where in this grid my bubbles are, that have an indication of how profitable they are. Here I have 85% profitability, where here I only have 22. So by seeing a cluster of items here, I might be able to see whether my product portfolio I sell is the right one, or the pricing is right. Maybe some items in my inventory are something that I don't need, or maybe I sell them in bundles, so that's why I need it. But here I can at least you get an idea about profitability for your inventory, for the items in your inventory. Profitability is also something where you can look at your sales staff. Let's look at sales by salesperson. This is an existing report that got some new visuals. So here on the sales metrics, you can see for Joe, sales amount Joe generated, also the profit they generated, and the margin they generated. You can see an overview of the opportunities in the CRM module, if you use that, by different people in your sales staff. And again, the same kind of bubble chart analysis, not by item, but now by salesperson. So here, Jim is generating 23% margin with an amount, where some others have generate much more, not only revenue, but actually profit. So I'm not saying that you should fire Jim. I'm just saying that this could be a way to also have look at the sales staff with some different metrics and see whether it's profitability or the sales amount or the quantity of sale that drive these different sales staff. The final profitability metric is on the overview page. Let me just navigate to that. The sales overview here. This is also just an updated of the existing report, but the top 5 customer and the sales amount by salesperson now show kind of the breakdown on the amount. So for instance, You can see here there's a 0 here. Everything to the left is negative. So here you have credit memos, and you have your return orders. And then on the right side here are the revenue generating amounts. And the same thing goes not only for customers, but for salespeople. Now, why would that be interesting? There could be many factors to these numbers, but what if whenever Lena is selling something, she's overselling? So that means there's a lot of returns or credits going on in that sale. So by just seeing like these different numbers ordered by sales staff could give you an indication of maybe there's some training, maybe there's a different way to approach customers so that they don't return so many of the items. The third topic in the new Power BI app is demographics in different ways. Let's take a look. If I choose the sales by location report, this is an existing report that got a map. So now you can see from where in the world your customers are coming from, and the size of the bubbles indicate how much revenue or how much sales amount these different geographies generate. Maybe this is even a report that you want to have kind of blown up on the wall to have your world domination sales map. I don't know, up to you. A different way of looking at demographics is the new report, sales demographics. So in this report, we also have not the amount, but the number of customers by location in a map. And we also have different metrics, sales metrics by the sales amount and profit, by item category up here, by item here, and some details by customer posting group. So that's just different ways to analyze demographics, composition of your sales numbers. The last topic is AI-assisted ways to analyze data. Now, AI can be many things. It can be generative AI. What you're going to see here is applications of very old but proven data mining techniques that I think work well in sales and marketing. So on the sales decomposition report here, you can see a tree structure or an analysis here that starts with a sales amount. And then I have expanded this 3 levels to explain the high contributors to sales. Now, if I choose the next part here, I can either simply choose my own analysis, not AI assisted. For instance, maybe I want to see the location name to see kind of how is that distributed, and I can then kind of go into the city dimension for West Warehouse and see that as well. So that's one way of looking at using this, that you can choose yourself the type of analysis you would like. But you could also have a statistics model choose for you either what are the high value contributors or what are the low value, depending on what you're interested in. Maybe you want to see contributors to high sales, but it could also mean that you want to kind of find out where are the troublesome areas. So let's just go for high value here. And the algorithm simply found out that the location is the next dimension that describes a lot of sales. And here we have the contributors for that, of which blank, the warehouse with, or the entries with no warehouse is contributing the most. And I can just expand on and on and on. Here I can see that Jim is killing it, at least in this part of it. So that's the sales decomposition AI-assisted report. The next report is actually 2 different reports in one. It's called Key Sales Influencers. And in here, we also have a statistical model that is helping driving some insights based on a question. And the question here is, what influences the document number to be sales invoice, which means we do a sale. We could also have different others, like what is most common for a credit memo or return shipment. For now, we'll just do a sales invoice. And the algorithm found some different key influencers for that. The first two seem to be very related, that whenever Jim Olive here is involved, you can see that there is a 1.6 times higher likelihood that you make a sale. And then for this particular insight, you also get a small explanation here with a graph where you can see the other. Let's just pick the salesperson here. You can see on average, the sales staff produce 51%, but Jim is leading with 84 here to explain sales. So this is sorted by impact, but you can also sort by count. Here would be the number of sales, and in here it's the same insights. It wouldn't have to be, depending on your data. You can see, for instance, for item sales, that there are kind of 4 items that are leading. So if the sale is about a Musco swivel chair in red, it's 1.53 times more likely to sell than the main or the average population. So that's the key influencer report. The other report is a segmentation of the data space around your sales. Again, we are asking about things that can explain a sales invoice. And the algorithm segmented or found 4 significant segments that we can now explore. So let me look at the first one here. So in this segment, there are some properties that describe it. The algorithm cannot give it a real name, but if we are outside Adelaide, the global dimension is outside medium, and we are selling chairs, and especially if Jim is the salesperson, this also confirms to the other analysis that Jim is really killing it. Then we get 30 percentage point higher sales than on average. And we can explore this segment even further with a AI-generated learn more here. Let's just, there was nothing here. Let's try the other segment and see if there's something. Yeah. So there's more to dive in segment 2 with some auto-generated reports, in a sense, that might explain more around this segment. So that's the key influencer report with the key influencers way of analyzing, and the segmentation, the top segments way of analyzing. And all of this is assisted by machine learning or AI. So that wraps up the demos for the enhanced Power BI app for sales that we ship in version 26.1. As you can see, we have 7 new reports coming. You've seen most of this in these demos, and we have some updated reports. I probably missed a few. So I hope that you will upgrade if you're already using the app, and if you're not, then I think you're missing out on a lot of insights that could help you drive your sales part of your organization. If you want to learn more about this exciting topic of sales analytics, all of this is documented in our documentation for users, and you find the easiest way to find that is using this AKA link here. So if you open a browser and type in aka.ms/BC sales analytics, this will take you to a landing page, and I'll just briefly show you what you can find there. So the sales analytics part of the documentation is under sales. And the overview you get here is both the overview for the Power BI app. You can investigate all the reports with screenshots from here. You don't have to install it just to get curious. And then there is also guidance on how to do ad hoc analysis with data analysis on sales scenarios, as well as built-in sales reports with an overview of that. So hopefully this documentation give you anything you need for the BI triangle for sales analytics. In the top, we have the KPIs with Power BI. In the middle, we have data analysis with or ad hoc analysis with data analysis on lists and queries. And for the operational part, we have legacy reports and the new Excel reports for sales. That's all we had for you in this video. Hope you have a great launch event. Thank you.